Where do our excuses come from? Because we've all got them. We all have that go-to that goes, I just don't have enough of this, or I don't have enough of that. In other words, our excuses come from the things that we want. So in this article, I talk about 3 things that you secretly want that actually is getting in the way of your productivity. So the first thing that I'm interested in kind of breaking down with you is the idea around inspiration. Now, a lot of people who are creative still believe in the concept of inspiration. So the way in which I break down inspiration is that, you know, when you've got just a habit that you do every single day, like you're brushing your teeth, or you're doing the laundry, or you're washing dishes, and just everyday stuff. While you're doing that, have you ever had that feeling where this aha moment arrives? Because your brain got to chill for a little bit, it got to rest. And while it was resting, the problem that you had, that you couldn't solve earlier, suddenly becomes absolutely clear. That is inspiration to me. It is when the conscious mind is chilled and resting, and it gets to wander and think about things, and you're not really in control of where your mind is going, and your unconscious mind gets to align the solution for you based on all the information that you have. So, what I don't dig is when people tell me, yeah, I couldn't do it because I wasn't feeling inspired, or people say, oh, I didn't do it because I wasn't feeling moved, or inspiration didn't strike. You know, as if there's some lofty artist that will only work when they're feeling inspired. It's like, oh, I couldn't possibly work just because that's what work is. Work is work because you do it every single day. The best painters, the best writers, they are that because that's what they do. They don't wait for inspiration to strike to create incredible work. They do it because that's their craft and that's what they do every single day. Using inspiration as an excuse only tells me that you're scared of work. You're scared to get it done. You're scared to wake up every day and spend 4 to 8 hours only doing that thing. If you aren't doing that, then you can't call yourself the thing. You can't call yourself a painter if you paint 2 hours a week, because that's when inspiration struck at 2 o'clock in the morning after having too much wine. You felt like a dash of painting. You're not a painter. We can hardly say that you have a hobby. But if anyone were to say you're not a painter, you'd get offended. Or anyone said, why aren't you painting more? You'd give an excuse. And the excuse would be, I only paint when I'm inspired. So, those are the stories that we tell ourselves. These are the excuses that we have. The next one, and it's a little bit more subtle, it's a little bit more complicated, and for many people, it's a little bit more sad, it's a little bit more vulnerable and real, is that, and we don't talk about this. We don't advertise this. So in the way we go inspiration, we'd say out like, I wasn't feeling inspired. This is the one we don't talk about. But we all want it. And it is validation. It's affirmation. It's a pat on the back. So, have you ever met that person who gets so excited about an idea and that's all that they can talk about? And it's almost like obsessive. So they're researching about it all the time, and it's all that they can talk about. But if you ask them, okay, what have you actioned? What tasks have you done? What goals have you set? What have you achieved? What are you making happen with regards to this idea? That have very little to say. Because the reason why they're so obsessed about the idea and they love sharing it so much is because that's actually the payoff. The payoff is the sharing. The payoff is being able to tell people about it and then get their feedback. And that feedback feels like validation. It's not the real validation they want, which might be from a parent or from a teacher or from someone who disrespected them when they were younger and made them feel like they're not enough. Because that's what they get. When they share their idea, they're getting that feeling of, yes, you are enough. Yes, I see your genius. Yes, you are beautiful and you can make it happen for yourself. Some of us need that. I would venture to guess that most people need that. But there are so many people who have an idea that do nothing with the idea because they're more invested in the validation. They're more invested in getting someone to see who they are and see that they're capable. But when your goal is to get someone else to see that you're capable, it means that you believe that you're not. When you need the validation, it means that you don't feel valid, right? You don't feel credible. You don't feel able. You don't believe that you have the capacity to make it happen. And in that way, you doubt yourself. So instead of dealing with the feelings of doubt or insecurity that you have, that every single entrepreneur has, or any creative has, around making what they want to do happen, instead of just doing it anyway and dealing with the failure, you'd rather just talk about it. So the second thing that we all secretly want is validation. And it gets in the way of making the thing happen, because you feel satisfied without having to actually take any risks. The third one I've always referred to as the SoundCloud rapper in the back of his mother's house. For people who don't know what SoundCloud is, I will give another example, and I would say this is the person who starts a restaurant, doesn't advertise, and is angry and shocked at no one arriving at the restaurant. So some people are so scared of putting themselves out there. They'll actually start the business. They'll actually start doing stuff. So they don't need the validation that we talked about. So they're actually making stuff happen. But there's a part of them that feels entitled. It's like, it's that whole field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. That only works in a film with Kevin Costner. It doesn't work in real life. If you build it, they won't just come. You need to create an environment and a story that attracts people and builds recommendation, which is the third thing that we all secretly want, but gets in the way of our productivity. We feel that people should come to us, as if somehow magically they will know, as if it's almost like when we take the risk of entrepreneurship or the risk of any kind of communication, any kind of sharing, right? Where we expect that it goes well, the anxiety that it won't go well is spread so thinly across everyone that we know. When we get anxious about sharing our service, we believe that everyone out there is going to judge us. Everyone out there is going to have a problem with it. No one is going to, we tell ourselves stories. So when we actually do it, the opposite is true, which is that we think that everyone is going to know. In the same way that we felt like everyone's going to judge us, we expect that everyone will know that we have now started this restaurant. So it's the complete opposite. It's from one excuse to another. The first excuse is I can't do it because people are going to judge me. The other side is I've done it now. Why is no one here? Everyone should know that I've done it, but there's no one there. And they're not there because you haven't told the story. You haven't reached out. You haven't been proud of what it is that you're doing to the point where you're happy to talk about it all the time. And to talk about it in a way that's actually interesting to your audience. To actually create content and to create meaningful story for people to feel related to feel connected to. You believe that if you put your foot forward, that someone else will automatically put their foot forward as well. The world does not work that way. You need to create an environment and a list of actions and a list of strategies. You need to create a strategy to be able to get your product or your service out there so that more people know what you're doing. You cannot sit back and expect people to come to you. This is the problem with the SoundCloud rapper. He puts up 5 songs and then is surprised when only his mom and her friends listen to it. He needs to network, he needs to collaborate, he needs to get out there. And that's the hard part. Stepping outside of your comfort zone, reaching out, sharing yourself, being proud of what you're doing has an inherent risk because some people might not like it. And that might be the thing that you're scared of. So instead of dealing with that fear, you stay in the back of your mom's house and you put it up and then get angry that no one else has listened to it. But you're only fooling yourself. So those are the 3 things that we all secretly want. We all want to feel inspired. We all want to feel validated. And we all want to feel like what we're doing is worth people talking about and finding us, instead of us constantly having to find them and pulling them towards what we're doing. But there are also excuses. and they're getting in the way of what could be. And I think that's the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship, is that question of what could it be is in our hands. It's like we get to make it up, and we get to fail, and we get to figure it out, but we get to take an adventure of what could it be. So in a way, our excuses are our needs and our wants in disguise. They are unproductive wants and needs in a particular way. And when we're trying to better understand that direction, where we need to go, and what we need to do to be able to get to where we want to be, we need to ask ourselves, what do we fuel our excuses with? Why do we want what we want? In other words, why do we want to feel inspired? Why do we want to feel valid? Why do we want to feel like what we're doing is worth recommendation? And are those excuses, are they getting in the way of what it is that we're trying to do? So I hope that this article and this video, I'm kind of trying this thing where I'm bringing out an article and then I'm also just elaborating and sharing a little bit more insight about what I mean by the article, by doing a video. So I hope that you guys liked it. If you guys did, then what I would love you to do, it would feel special to me, is if you were to go into the comments, even if you just say hi, even if you just like right now, if you were to go H-I, just go hi, then I'll say hi back, and then maybe we can talk and you can tell me about which one of these 3 things you secretly want and how it's getting in the way of what you actually need to be doing, and maybe we can have a conversation. That would be cool for me. It's kind of why I'm doing this, and that'll be rad. If you liked this video, if it was meaningful to you, if somehow you related to it and it kind of was like, oh, my excuses are not good for me, and there are the things that I want that I think are good for me, and oh, this is confusing, but now it makes sense. If that happened, then I'm really happy. If it moved you in any kind of way and you want to connect with me, you just say hi, I'll say hi back, and then we'll start, the conversations will start flowing, and that's exciting. Otherwise, like the video, that'll be cool. Subscribe, I'm going to be doing more of these, talking about how do we make stuff happen, why do we share stuff, and how do we communicate better, and all kinds of cool stuff about entrepreneurship. So if you dig it, I'm glad. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.